Hey everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Che Arena. I mean, they tell us every day, the world is dying, climate change is gonna kill us, the ice caps are melting, all the polar bears are skinny now. I mean, geez Louise, can you just let me ignore my problems and continue to consume mindless content like the rest of the world? But no, really, the world is dying and we should be very concerned. You should be in the bean aisle in Costco stocking up on beans. It's protein in a can, baby. When the world goes to crap and it goes into big time we're all gonna die mode and everything descends into Mad Max hell, beans are gonna be the new currency. Now today I'm gonna highlight some of the scarier things that might happen if we don't fix this burning that's going on in the Amazon with today's list of top 10 scary things that could happen if the Amazon rainforest burns down. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook. It's a great way to get to know myself and the other hosts a little bit better. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10 we have the animals are going to die. Yeah, I'm gonna be super blunt with this one. If we lose the rainforest, a bunch of animals are gonna die and you can say goodbye to biodiversity. There's over 10% of the world's species living in the rainforest. That's a lot, bro. Imagine you're at a party with 100 people and then 10 of those people catch on fire because everyone else at the party was too careless. The party would suck after that. It's hard to keep a good time going when 10 people burn to death right in front of you. And many of these animals can't just be taken out of the rainforest and then put into a zoo. First of all, zoos are cruel and we should shut all of them down, but these animals need a complexed environment that is the rainforest. Without that they can't survive. Like you can't just take a person from Chicago and then put them with a bunch of monks to live in the mountains. They wouldn't know the language or what any of the local sports teams would be. It would be traumatizing. At number 9 we have medicine. Because the Amazon has so many different things living inside of it, it has offered us the ability to experiment with some substances that are unique to that area. And some of the stuff that we pull out of the massive jungle could be used to make medicines to cure all sorts of diseases. The key to stopping hangovers could be locked away in the lush green. Imagine you could party all night and then wake up the next day feeling like you got a full 8 hours, even though you only slept for 20 minutes on your buddy's couch before you had to go to work. Whoever made that discovery would be a hero. It's estimated that up to 1/4 of the world's base source of modern medicine would be lost if we lose the Amazon. Like imagine you're at a party with 100 people and 25 of them catch on fire. Now this party for sure sucks, and someone please call 911. At number 8 we have war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But if we don't stop burning down the Amazon, people are probably gonna go to war. That's gonna be on the Billboard Top 100 by the end of the week, no doubt about it. Well, if we keep turning a bunch of trees into ash, it's going to have an effect on food supply, air quality, and as we mentioned before, medicine for a lot of people. What happens when people run out of food, clean water, clean air, and can't get any aspirin? Well, they're gonna get pretty cranky and very desperate. And when you have a bunch of cranky, desperate people who haven't eaten in a long time, you're probably gonna have an all-out war. Doing this much damage to the environment is going to have a drastic effect on people's lives. At number 7 we have loss of money. I mean, if there's one way we can try to convince these massive companies to stop tearing down trees, it's definitely with even more green. The main reason that the rainforest is being torn down is because the land is converted for commercial use. These big companies come through with big ugly trucks and rip out all the beautiful natural foliage so they can repurpose the land for rubber trees, palm oil trees, and even grazing areas. I would hate to see what their homes look like. I'm sure they suck at decorating. They probably took out all the natural light and then replaced it with neon frame pictures of their own. But these companies don't realize that in the long run, they are making way less money. It's thought that in the pharmaceutical industry alone, the rainforest is worth about $150 billion. The global rubber industry, even including everything outside of the rainforest, is only worth $26 billion. And the palm oil industry, even including all the stuff outside the rainforest, is only worth $60 billion. The money gain doesn't even come close to the amount of money that's being lost. Y'all are just being stupid, man. You gotta think about long-term growth. At number 6 we have climate change. Yeah, we already talked about this in the intro, but it's kind of a big deal, so I'm going to talk about it again. If we burn down the whole Amazon, climate change is going to get worse, and then the flood will kill us all, or lack of food, or cannibals. Any of them really. Now part of me thinks that the government has a carbon gun hidden away in Area 51 that can suck all the carbon out of the air and save the planet in like 20 minutes, and that this whole climate change thing is just something to distract us from the fact that the Clintons are so so powerful they can kill anyone at any time, but I'm not willing to bet all my chips on that just yet. For now, I'm gonna hope that not burning down the Amazon will save us, and it can. The Amazon is a carbon sink, which means it sucks a bunch of carbon out of the air. The thing is a giant scrub brush for the atmosphere. 40% of the world's carbon is absorbed by the world's forests. That's a lot. Imagine you're at a party with 100 people, and then 40 of the people there are actively working to shrink their carbon footprint. That would be a pretty woke party. At number 5, we have displacement of indigenous people. This is probably one of the saddest parts about this whole list. There are people who have made the Amazon their home for centuries, and if it burns down, where are they supposed to go? That is their land, and they've made a life that isn't so easily changed. You don't go from living in a tribe in the Amazon, hunting with a bow and arrow, to working at Walmart and putting money into a tax-free savings account. There's a lot of people who rely on the rainforest to survive. Around 31 million people either live in or off the Amazon. The people who live in these areas need the land to live. They need the areas for food, and for some of them they haven't been exposed to outside communities. Because most of us are filthy animals and carry a bunch of diseases, we have way more bacteria on us than any of these tribes have ever seen. So when these indigenous people come in contact with us, sometimes they can die just from the exposure to these new diseases. They don't have a natural immunity to them. There's not vaccines in the deep dark corners of the rainforest. At number 4, we have major damage to the ocean. If we actually don't stop the horrific act of burning down the rainforest like joints at a party, the carbon levels are going to skyrocket, which we kind of already covered, but this won't just affect the atmosphere. Some of the carbon will get absorbed into the ocean, which means the ocean will become more acidic. If you don't know what that means, don't feel bad. The only reason I know what it means is because I had to look it up for this video. Now, if the ocean becomes more acidic, then most of the animals can't live in there. We're gonna see a mass extinction of sea life. Some stuff will be able to survive, but so many fish are gonna die a horrible death of swimming in an ocean that's too acidic. If a ton of fish die out of nowhere, well, it's probably gonna lead to famine and every good fish and chip restaurant closing. That means no more sushi, no more oyster bars, no more Red Lobster. Well, I mean, Red Lobster could stay open on the Cheddar Bay biscuit alone. Every time I go, I eat like 15 of them, even though they clog my colon up like concrete in a drain pipe. But if we destroy the rainforest, say goodbye to seafood. At number 3, we have erosion. So if the Amazon gets destroyed, there's now going to be a massive plot of land that used to be held together by vegetation. Now that all that vegetation is gone and all that land is loose, like your stool after Taco Bell, and what does loose stool do? It flows, baby. Oh, it flows fast. And that's what that loose stool land is going to do. This will cause mudslides and a whole bunch of other natural disasters. On top of that, the rainforest is what fertilizes the soil. So all that flowing earth will be unfertilized. And then when it smashes into farmland, it will make that soil unusable. Basically another situation that leads to massive famine where we all become cannibals and eat our friends. Number 2, we have evapotranspiration. A big word for my little brain. What the hell is evapotranspiration, you may ask? Well, it's when plants give off vapor from their leaves in the process of photosynthesis. This goes up into the atmosphere and makes clouds, and then it comes back down as rain. The whole thing is the circle of life. But you may think that it's not a big deal. How much water vapor comes off of plants and gets turned into clouds? Well, a lot. An acre of corn can produce 4,000 gallons of water vapor a day, and somewhere between 10 to 15% of water vapor in the atmosphere comes from plants. And this will stretch super far. The decrease in rainfall will stretch as far as the Sierra Nevada, and areas between the Amazon will be seeing a decline of 50% in rainfall. Areas like California have already seen the effects of deforestation in the form of drought, which leads to massive fires. So not only will we all be cannibals, but everything will be on fire. And number 1 on our list, it won't come back. This isn't something you can just fix by planting seeds. The whole thing would be gone for good. The Amazon rainforest is a delicate ecosystem that was formed 56 million years ago when the world was hot enough to create rainforests. So the conditions that it takes to create a beautiful ecosystem like that are gone. And we already covered how the soil would be crap, the rain would be gone, the plants and animals would all be dead. The rainforest would all be gone. So we get one shot at saving this thing, guys. Let's try to do it right. Thank you all for tuning in. That is our list. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, guys, if you know of any charities or anything you can donate to help try and save the rainforest, put them in the comments below. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook. It's a great way to get to know myself and the other hosts a little bit better. Until next time, I've been Shade Arena. and I don't know, I guess I hope we save it. I got enough beans to live for a little while though. Bye.